How can you proactively prepare for international travel so you don't struggle with your sleep throughout the entire trip or your energy levels being low for the entire trip? In this video, I will share with you some of those practicalities that I help my clients with when they actually travel international. And this could be going from, for example, a UK time zone all the way to the other side of the world and then coming back as well. And these are the practical things that I always help them to incorporate into their lives. And these things they then end up using for every single trip so that they can actually sleep through the night in a different time zone and maintain their energy levels properly during the entire trip. Hi there, my name is Beatrix Schmidt from the sleepdeepmethod.com. As a sleep coach and speaker, I help professionals to overcome insomnia, sleep problems, and improve their energy levels. And this channel is all about providing you with practical tips and advice that you can incorporate into your everyday life to achieve all those things. So if you're interested in receiving practical tips, hit the subscribe button below and come back each week when I share different practical things that I help with in terms of sleep, insomnia, and improving your energy levels as well. Some of the clients that I have worked with in the past do travel quite excessively and internationally. That could mean going from a time zone to almost a complete opposite sort of dynamic when traveling from the UK to, for example, Asia or the other side of the US. That means they have to quite quickly adjust to a new time zone and maintain their peak performance during the entire trip. And the two actually can become quite tricky unless you take some particular steps to prepare your body and your mind to this quite quick change traveling. The first part of preparing for international travel, and if you watched any of my videos, you will know that this is the way I tend to work, is really truly first of all understanding what is that dynamic that you have when you're traveling. And this could be frequency of travel. So do you travel internationally sort of every couple of weeks, or is it maybe seasonal? Could it be that you have a certain pattern within the entire year? Or is it that perhaps the travel is, first of all, maybe going to a shorter distance and then extending your travel to a different time zone later on? So a lot of the times when I work with clients who do travel internationally, we first of all need to understand the frequency and the length of time that you travel, because the preparation might be completely different. So let me give you an example. If you're traveling from London to a European city, the time zone difference is quite small. So the preparation will be completely different than you traveling, for example, from the UK to the other side of the US. The time difference will be completely different. So the preparation will be different too. And I think, first of all, understanding this dynamic first will help you to get a better understanding how your sleep needs to be changed, how your perhaps eating habits need to be changed, how the weather might be affecting your energy levels and your sleep while you're away. The first and very important part of preparing for international travel is looking at the time zone and the time zone difference between where you're normally living and the time zone that you're traveling to. So let's take a shorter difference. So for example, traveling from the UK to, let's say, Germany, which is just an hour difference. That means your body will be able to adjust to an earlier time quite quickly. And you can do that by actually preparing a couple of days before and going to bed a little bit earlier. So when you end up spending some time, for example, in Germany, your body is already adjusted to that new time zone. Now, it is very different when you travel to a completely different time zone, for example, going from the UK all the way to the other side of the US. The time difference and the time zone difference will be quite significantly different. Now, two things you can do in that situation. Either you plan your days before your travel so that you can really help your body to start changing the dynamics of the sleep. So you start changing the time that you go to bed, Or when you get to your new destination, you could travel maybe a day before, a couple of days before, so your body has time to actually adjust. Again, these are just two scenarios. When I work with clients who travel internationally, it takes time for us to figure out all those dynamics that we need to do and we need to put in place so that they can function really well during the entire trip. The next part of preparing for international travel is actually all about preparing before you travel. And this is not just about time zones that I mentioned earlier, but it's actually looking at your schedule when you're at your new destination. Often I actually help my clients to really look at the dynamics of the commitments that they have. So we would discuss in details about, whether or not they have to start early, or maybe they have a dinner commitment in the evening, or anything in between. So whatever the dynamics of your international travel is, really looking at how you can maintain your energy levels. So that could be maybe adjusting your eating habits and maybe eating more frequently so your body gets that little bit of energy boost during the entire day, rather than waiting for perhaps the dinner reception that might be giving you the most amount of energy or most amount of food. And this is just one of the ways that you can really start looking at preparation. Look at your schedule and look at how you can look after your energy levels. And this is a great way for you to get a better understanding and a better preparation in place for when you're actually away. The next part of getting through international traveling, both in terms of being able to sleep really well and maintaining your energy levels, comes down to the different behaviors that you have while you're away. And if you haven't done any sort of preparation or haven't done any sort of exploring this before, then it might be that your first trip is going to be about actually really noticing those different behaviors that you have while you're away. And this is sometimes where we need to begin with clients if we haven't managed to pinpoint some of those major changes that happen while they're away. So when you go away for your next trip, what you can do is actually start taking notes of how you behave differently. So, for example, a lot of the clients that I have worked with in the past who do travel internationally, when they're in their home environment, they tend to actually finish work at a certain time, maybe have dinner at a certain time, obviously spend time with their family in the evenings. But when they're actually away, they don't have any of those sort of family commitments, which means that often they feel maybe more pressure to socialize with clients till later, or they end up cramming a lot of meetings into that trip. And of course, I can totally understand some work pressures in terms of really utilizing your time while you're away. But at what cost? If you're not able to perform at your absolute best during that work trip, perhaps taking one or two meetings out of your diary so that you can really rest properly, those things will make the other meetings better. The outcomes will be better. And this is one of the things that, again, I'll explore with clients is what are those behaviors that maybe you have different when you're away traveling. The last part that I look at with excessive international travel is how my clients come back into their normal time zone. And again, this relates to a little bit more when you have long distance flights rather than the flights that are quite short and there's not much time difference between the two locations. So there are two scenarios here. One is that you actually find it really hard to sleep on the flight. If you do find that, then I would suggest taking a daytime flight will really help your body to readjust to your normal time zone. Partly because you can also be really productive during the flight. You can wrap up all the work you need to do. You won't be distracted. And then you land in your normal time zone and you're actually going to be able to get a good night's sleep in your own bed, in your own environment before you then go into the office the next day. And that's generally a really good way for you to avoid really bad jet lag. If you can sleep really well on flights, then taking an overnight flight will actually give you a good amount of quality sleep and you land in the time zone, putting your body into that time frame, that dynamic already. And that could be a great way for you to sort of nudge your body to get back into that normal routine. But bear in mind, it usually takes about 3 days for the body to completely readjust to the new time zone. So this is a great way for you to start managing your jet lag better and supporting your body throughout that first couple of days coming back. As always, if you've got any questions on any of the sleep related topic that I mentioned, and in this video particularly about extensive international travel, feel free to reach out to me or comment below and ask your questions. I'm always here to help and clarify some of the tips that I share with you, because I want to be able to make sure that you can put them in place properly and use them so that it will actually improve your sleep and help you to maintain your energy levels as well. So feel free to reach out. And other than that, I would love to know some of the strategies that you might use while you travel that have really worked well for you, because we all experience different things and it might be useful for someone else who also travels a lot internationally. Did you like this video? If you did, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with a colleague or a friend that travels internationally a lot. This will help them to put some of those practicalities into their trip, into their preparation, so they can actually get through those trips better as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video, sharing more practical tips and advice on how you can improve your sleep, overcome your insomnia, and have really good amounts of energy during the day.